It's like number like 5 has disappeared.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
See, this is surprising that their mom stayed there for so long. I guess she came back. Like, I would have been gone. I gotta go back around. Are you serious? Running out of family members to kill. And she left the door open. Like, why would you trust this?
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
I guess we were supposed to go this way first. This is not... She's... Oh, God damn it. Alright, fuck it. She's just about to be the next one in her family. Gonna kill him. God got a kill streak on the us right now. There's an AC-130 on its way to take her out. She's the last one.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
I fucking love Louis. Yeah, Louis. But you gotta take that. That's gotta be worth something.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Bro, flip that. What is that, a QP? Bro, that's like $600 profit. You gotta get that.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse.
Ooh.
Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Okay. Oh yeah, he probably get his hand cut off.
He kept working at the cannery.
Ugh, no.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh, I see. Oh, so I can do both? Okay.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
What if I go like this way?
Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
I never see myself cutting my hand doing this.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Should I do both at the same time for a challenge?
And things that have not names.
My hand's gotta go.
He knew it was all in his head.
Can you grab this one? Oh. Oh, I missed it. Oh, behind.
He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
What's here? Oh, okay.
But he found something more.
So I'm doing drugs, so this is happening, essentially.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
Can you blame
I spoke
him?
with his
whole
boss.
job is beheading fish. His therapist.
But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
That nigga on crack.
Like a whole new Louis. So I let him go on.
Well. Oh,
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Ooh, got a little doggy. Oh, how do I get up there? Can I get over there?
On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, I just walked over.
Then he made musicians.
Okay. Someone sample this. Hey, 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 hey.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination
bow
grew
down to me.
stronger.
My slaves, I am your god. Yes, cheer for me.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping
Know
was as
your
reliable
place.
as ever.
Know your place. Peasants below me. Back.
Then one day
Back.
it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet,
Exactly, they're the same thing.
were all in his imagination. So he could do
I
whatever
am
he
their
wished.
god. My people,
He held an election for men,
and I'm going to fucking win. Election for
and he won.
y'all. That's my name on my flag.
They
You should
begged
cheer
him
for
to
me.
stay, but
Cheer
his
for me
mind
out of
was
fear.
already wandering. It became a
shit.
game for him.
Oh.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
So I'm
You,
just
Lewis.
doing a lot of drugs, essentially. Oh, is it going on something? It's not.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
What the?
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
So this is she's beginning to start doing drugs, essentially. I think. He wants to go chop up those fish heads. It's going to be me. It's going to be me. King
In
Louis.
Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Beautiful prince. Handsome queen. Look at my handsome queen.
handsome queen.
Where my queen at? My wife. We go hold my hands when we behead peasants.
The queen was on her own quest
grab it?
for
Were you at Raiders? Nah, bro, we the ops. We're the bad guys.
sinister serpents.
Really, it's not even letting me grab it. I'll have to look for this first. Got it. Got the fish.
He followed the sound of her
Silver harp.
silver harp.
Oh, there you go. Fish.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Okay.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
So you're telling me he's the most productive drug user ever?
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
They're still cheering as if I'm not allowed to like, pillage, rape, and murder. Come on. Oh, okay.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Exactly. A god. Fish.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world,
Bow in
I
fear.
think it was overwhelming.
Fear.
And then it struck him that the real
Look at
Lewis
the
was not
waves.
the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Exactly. You know why? We're out of DMT, and we're about to swan dive into a wood chipper, alright?
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh, that's the keyword in the cannery. Let's drink some pine sol. He brought the. He leaves the bong in his open water.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Also, I'm walking on myself. But did they really need to make this so depressing? Like, I'm assuming like somebody wants to sell these fish. You just need that
He began to despise
mountain
the
of
man
bodies.
with a royal contempt.
What passion?
I still thought I could save him.
Maybe get him out of this depressing ass factory.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Hey, 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 hey. My name is King Lewis, and you know I really do this, and you know I am the truth.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Yeah, I gotta get it all. Yeah, you know I let it all. Keep up climbing till you fall. Yeah, I said fuck it all. Hey, yeah, hey, 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 ah, hey, 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 yeah, hey, hey, hey. Y'all dancing out in the whole pretty. Fucking say, look at me, your wife, your daughter will be mine. Alright, you fucking dancing around here.
His
Hey.
queen waited, holding his crown.
That's a big bitch, man. What the fuck?
There was only one thing left to do.
What's wrong with these hands? The level of down bad this is though, like real talk. This man's so deep into the
Then down his
ready
head.
to.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Oh, so that was.
My brother was really cool.
She lost both.
I wish you could have met him.
Is that Abu? Oh no, we got Edie and Mama. Yeah, okay. Which one was the end? His room is actually lit though. Oh.
Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
They leave the old-ass woman in this house, this death trap of a house by herself. That's some cold shit. I love it. Fuck her, Grady.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Bro, the HOA did not approve any of these
My
house
mom ended up
modifications.
leaving everything behind.
Everything?
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come
it's my room.
sooner.
Bro,
But it
You need to
had
go-
to end one way or another.
her mom had to go through all this just to kiss her
All
daughter
that's
goodnight.
left now was to tell you about that last night.
The outdoor boots, man. Can't have them on the bed.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
I'm going back.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Y'all leaving those lit candles pretty close to those curtains. And those presumably dry books that they're sitting on. And this wooden everything. I'm sure it'll be fine. They don't have like a history of everyone dying or anything. That would be terrible.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the
Was it out?
first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
I don't think they have any normal days here. It's just like,
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
see, like, really? These are situations black people just don't find themselves in. Because the fog too thick? Alright, time to go back.
I got turned around. I I started seeing things.
That's the same dude that got. What's his name? Sam. That's the same one.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Is this
But
the...
when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Oh,
Or
okay,
maybe
weird.
I came back to them.
It's pretty haunting.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
Oh, can I fight for it?
I kicked
And
and
she ripped
screamed,
it.
but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
What the...
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Oh, well, she died stuck in her ways.
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
Oh, can she? Oh,
My mom
really?
didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Does she wear the same thing every fucking day?
And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
Except for my baby.
Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Oh. Oh, is this being born?
This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you.
This is traumatic. The real world is
And tell you all
overrated.
these stories
Stay in the
myself.
stomach. Don't leave. No.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
I really don't want to experience being born. Again.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Damn. They got her too? No. I actually kind of like her. What happened to her? She only lived to 18. Giant Sparrow nailed that. Giant Sparrow nailed that shit. That was bleak. They are all dead. Thank you for watching.